Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Ashley.
I'm Tanner. Welcome. Carter's right here.
Carter's here.
Mason's
Mason's
over
over there. He's playing with his Legos. Carter's smiling like a beautiful little pumpkin. And this is part 2 of our birth story series. Birth story series. There's only 2 parts though, because I don't have more kids than that. Yeah, Mason's was part 1 and little baby Carter's is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, watch the other video. So I guess let's start with Bye Bye Baby. Do you want to tell that part?
So the day Carter came, she went to an OBGYN appointment to get everything checked out. And then we were supposed to have her on May 1st or May 5th, somewhere around there. They had the date set. It was for a Sunday, 2 weeks from now. And then we come home. Well, the doctor said she was 0, but she could feel the baby, da-da-da.
0 dilated, yeah. Not dilated.
So of course, every single night, it was Thursday. I must have been working from home, but she always wants to go places after I'm off, no matter what it is. I want to get out of this house because I've been in here so long. We had to take Mason's shirt back to buy a baby. Maybe this was this time or not, but I'm not sure.
It was. We got a Big Brother shirt for Mason. It
was like $20.
Cute. Yeah, it wasn't cute.
And she bought it.
It did.
But I had like an upset stomach. I forgot what we ate. But I ended up being in the bathroom while she was out sitting in the chairs in Bye Bye Baby department store. And we were hearing on the intercom that, hey, we're going to close in 10 minutes. Hey, we're going to close in 5 minutes. This is my alone time. I chose to do it at Bye Bye Baby. And she felt nauseous, felt sick. So we get in the car.
Contractions, that's what it was.
Yeah, I thought they were Braxton Hicks because she was so early. But just 2 weeks early. Get home. I say, hey, you might have a stomach issue because I have the same thing going on. Get in the shower. Everyone knows that that's how you feel better sometimes, or in the fetal position. But Carter was knocking, and she was like, I think we should go to the hospital. Talked to all of her friends and family, and they thought it would be a good idea.
You're going through the story right now. Can I fill in some spots?
So now it's 11:30.
Wait, hold on. Stop right there. Okay, let me fill in some spots that he missed. So I was 37 weeks and 2 days pregnant. My scheduled C-section was supposed to be at 39 weeks, so May 1st. This is April 18th. So we're kind of like, okay, like this is a little early. I mean, like she'd be fine most likely if she was born. Yeah. She'd be fine most likely if she was born, but like at the same time, we want her to cook in there as long as we can. And I was already terrified of the scheduled C-section because I was so afraid that she was gonna come early. Yeah, thank you. I was so afraid that she was gonna come early and like I would go into labor, and I did not want to go into labor again after having a C-section. Mason's trying to get in here. Come over here. Come see Dad. Yeah, so I was terrified of going into like natural labor again because of how bad it was with him. So I was like, I do not want this baby to come right now. Like she's got to wait a little bit longer. So yeah, we're at Bye Bye Baby. I'm sitting in like the glider, like nursing chairs, and he's in there pooping, and I'm just having contractions. I'm having contractions like 5 minutes apart, and I'm like, man, like I'm in pain. So I tell him like, hey, like I don't feel good. I think I'm going into labor. And he's like, no, you probably just have to poop like me. And I'm like, I've had a poop. And this is not a poop. So then the whole car ride home, I like laid the chair back, and I'm like fetal position, like cramping, like, and I'm afraid that it's Braxton Hicks, but I'm like, these are really close together. This is not Braxton Hicks. So at that point, it was like 8 o'clock at night. So then we get home, it's like 9:15. Luckily Mason was with Marty, so a hospital trip wasn't gonna be like too hard to do. And I was still having contractions. He's like, why don't you try getting in the shower? It's probably a poop. And I'm like,
And the only reason why I said that too is because I had to work the next day.
yeah.
And we had timed almost the pregnancy around me being off, which
You went down?
there's no way we could have gotten that lucky.
Mason, why are you crying? Sit down. You want to hold her?
But I got a month off from work.
No, hello.
Hello.
So I got a
like,
month off of work, so I'm like, I don't want to waste a Friday that's like when my vacation would start. And ended up doing it, and then she can tell the rest, I guess.
I'll tell the rest. I don't want to tell the whole thing, but I'm filling in your gaps. That's all it is. Mason really wants to hold her right now, so hold on, let me situate this. But yeah, so basically it's like 9:30 at night, and I get in the shower. Oh, sorry. I just whacked him in the face. I get in the shower, and he's like, yeah, it's probably just poop cramps. Just sit in the shower for a little bit. So I'm in the shower for probably 45 minutes. Like legit, it's like a long shower. And you're such a good big brother. And I'm like, oh, this is not going away. I'm laying in the bed, like that position, like what is it? Like you're like on your stomach with your feet curled up, kind of like fetal, but like on your belly. And I'm like rocking back and forth, like hoping like it's like, cause it's not back labor like it was with the first pregnancy. This was like contractions. I was in pain. And I'm like, man, like I really don't want to be going into labor right now. And yeah, so then I was like, I think this is it. So we call his mom, and we're like, hey,
we're going to the hospital. You want to come?
We're like, hey, like, do you think I'm going into labor? And she just had oral surgery this day, so she's like, I can't drive. You guys gotta come get me. So we go and we get her, and we go to the hospital. And Tan kept calling little baby Carter a poop, so he was annoying me, pregnant Ashley, and she doesn't want it right now, Mason. Let me hold her. So he kept calling her a poop. So I was just annoyed at the fact that he's like, you're not really going into labor. She's just a poop. And so I'm like, you know what? I was only allowed to have one person like up in like the monitoring room at that time. So I was like, well, you keep thinking that she's a poop. You don't think I'm really in labor, so your mom's coming with me. So he's out in the waiting room, just chilling on his phone and watching TV. And we're like in the room for like an hour. They come and check me. And I think I'm at like 1 centimeter dilated. Like I'm starting to dilate. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was 0 this morning and now I'm dilating. So I'm like, oh, don't want to go into labor, don't want to go into labor. And this nurse is like, well, let's wait to see if you dilate more. And I was just so confused because I'm like, why would you want me to dilate more? I don't want to go into labor. Like, you're supposed to cut me open, lady. And I guess they just wanted her to cook in there a little bit longer. So after like an hour, I was at a 3. So that's pretty quick. So finally they're like, yep, we're going to have your C-section tonight. And at this point, we call you in the waiting room. Your turn.
Yeah, so I'm just still contemplating, should I email my boss, HR representative, and let them know, hey, I'm not gonna be at work tomorrow. This time it's 11 o'clock at night. I had none of my stuff to work from home. And then I just wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, she's gonna have a baby, like that spark in your head that says, oh my gosh, now I'm nervous. But still wasn't nervous until they brought us into a room that we could all be in, which is the pre-delivery room, and pretty much told me to change. And then I was like, okay.
We're having a baby.
Now we're having a baby. So when I went into the hospital room, the OR room, they were pretty much done by the time I got in there. They had already taken pretty much from her going into the room until I was there, until the baby was out, only took 30 minutes.
When he's in the pre-delivery room getting suited up, they bring me in the OR to have the spinal. And again, coldest room I've ever been in my life. And you're like naked with just a hospital gown. Mason. He's yelling. But so they're like, oh yeah, like hug a pillow and like bend down so they could put the spinal thing in you. And I'm like shaking. I'm so nervous. I'm contracting. I'm already at a 5. I'm literally dilated to a 5 at this point. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't supposed to go into labor. Like I was contracting. It was painful again. And I'm like, I wanted to avoid this time. And so I get the spinal, which it hurt. Yeah, it definitely hurt because I wasn't as far along as last time when I got the epidural. So this, I felt it and it was very painful. And then they lay me down. My anesthesiologist is behind me, George, and coolest guy I have ever met. Like he was so nice, the best freaking anesthesiologist. He was awesome. He definitely made it like a good experience. And my doctor was a different doctor this time, and she was like playing music in the OR room, which was so different than Mason's delivery. And I'm like already laid down. They're like about to start cutting, and that's when they bring him in. And he's like by my head and on the stool. Could you see anything over the tarp? Like over like the shade? They wouldn't let me see again.
No.
You couldn't. So I'm like looking up at the lights again, like watching to see her like being cut out of me, which is so cool. And I felt like I could feel more pressure this time than like with Mason's. Like I felt more. I think it's because I didn't have the epidural as well. But I'm so glad I had him by my side because he calmed me along with the guy feeding me drugs in the back. And I'm like singing songs. What was it? What song was it? Do you remember? She's playing like oldies and I was jamming.
It was like Missy Elliott and stuff like that.
Was it?
I think.
I feel like it was like 80s music. I think. Yeah, so like it was probably like a 20-30 minute procedure total after like everything from like him coming into the room. And they like pulled her out of me and she had a bruise on her head, right? And they like took her to the little like weighing area.
The bruise was from the instrument having to take her head and take it out of the belly.
We think. Because they told us.
That's what Dr. Rupp said too.
Yeah, that's the only person that said that. Because the doctors in the hospital and the nurses said it was the way she was sitting on me, on like my pelvic bone. I don't know if that's true though. I feel like it is the forceps. It probably is. Them taking her out. But she had like a bruise all right here, and on like her cheek right here. But so they like brought her over and like weighed her, and he went over and cut the cord, and they like stitched me back up. And then we went into the post-delivery room and like healed for like an hour. Then we went into the labor or the mommy and me suites. That's what it's called, right? Like my room for like the next 3 days. And this experience was so much better than with Mason, because I told you with Mason, I like didn't remember the whole first day because I was so exhausted. This time the pain was probably more intense, but I was like taking my pain medication this time. And I had so much help this time, and I was actually awake and I can remember everything, which is like all I care about. I'll be in all the pain I have to be able to remember the birth of my child, you know? Like I can remember the whole time we were in the hospital. And his mom was so helpful, you were so helpful. So many people came to visit, like all of our family. And it was really nice. Like it was just a much better experience this time around, like knowing what I was going into. The labor part was still kind of annoying, but it was much better. What would you say about it?
I think my favorite part too was when they pulled the baby out, I was kind of like in charge, like because once they pulled her out, she got a C-section, and they still have to zip her up.
Zip me up.
And they let me go in the baby prenatal room.
That's cool.
Just me and the baby. So it was like a dad, daughter. There was no other babies in there. It was like 1 o'clock at night.
In the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning. And then she was like the first one in Brandon Regional, like the first baby to be born on April 19th because of the time. So it was cool. I got to go in there with her, and then 30 minutes later, she got to go in the other room to see her again. It was nice for sure.
It was really fun. The whole experience was obviously, I told you guys that there's nothing like being like holding your firstborn. Like it's the most like magical moment. And honestly, this doesn't make me sound like a bad mom too, probably. The whole pregnancy, I was terrified that I wasn't gonna love her as much as I love Mason. And like, I don't ever want to admit that. And I was so fearful that like, I just wouldn't be as connected or as close with baby Carter as I am with Mason. And that is not the case. So if any of you are fearing that, like that's completely normal. And it's gonna be like your whole firstborn all over again. Like right when I held her, emotional, like just a sobbing, weeping mess. And I'm like, like hyperventilating. And I was just so happy and just so in love. And it's just such a different love, having a boy and having a girl. It's like, they're so different. And just two different babies, you know? And I just had this whole like another love for her. And it just, I don't know, I'm just a mess, and I just love my babies so much.
Well, also, Brandon Regional now started for this year only, like starting it this year. They're not just giving the mom the meals for free, breakfast, lunch, dinner, but they also gave a coupon for me or your support person.
Yeah, that was cool. So you got
A meal a day.
meals.
The only thing is, mine wasn't delivered. I had to go down there and go get it.
Yeah. So like I get like unlimited, however much food I wanted the whole experience, which was, I soaked that up. I was getting everything. And yeah, he had to go down there to get his, but that was cool because the same hospital where I delivered Mason didn't have that 2 years ago. So that was super cool. So he was fed. We didn't have to go out and get you food anywhere, buy food. So that was really awesome. And again, some people came and visited. She's falling asleep. Oh, back up. But honestly, like just the whole experience was just so much better than my first C-section. And still a lot of pain, but it was worth it. It was a good experience. And I'm happy I had the people there that I did. And Mason got to come in the hospital and visit his baby sister. He's such a good big brother. He doesn't want to be held. He wants to play with his Legos. Look at his feet. You want to play with your Legos?
Why'd you get over here then?
But that's pretty much our whole birth story experience for baby Carter. And she's 3 months old now and the best little nugget to ever happen girl-wise for us. She's my favorite daughter, I can say that. And Mason's my favorite son. Right?
Yep.
But she's so sweet, and she's such a sweetheart. And I had the easiest babies. They both sleep through the night already. She wakes up maybe once a week. And it's just, we got lucky. We got 2 really awesome little babies. And I'm happy. And I'm happy I had a baby with you, baby.
Happy made baby with you, baby.
Aw, baby, you wanna do it again?
No.
How many kids do you want now?
1. 2. 2 total.
When I first met him, he wanted 5.
They're expensive.
How the times have changed.
They're expensive.
But that's it for this video, guys.
Another kid or pool?
A kid or a pool?
Kid or pool?
Pool.
Yeah.
I'll take a pool. Anywho,
That's
thanks
insane.
for watching, guys. Like this video, share this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, turn on post notifications so you guys can be notified every single time we post a video. And that's it. So bye, y'all. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.